And welcome back to the Brody File, everybody. We love a lot of things here at the Brody File. We love interviewing big-name newsmakers. We love poking fun at politicians. And yes, we love the Taco Bell drive-thru at 2 in the morning on the road. Believe me, we do love that a lot. But you know what else we love? We love interviewing members of the mainstream media. So let's do it again, shall we? It's time for our Mainstream Media Watch. In the spotlight this week, CNN's Dana Bash. She is the network's chief congressional correspondent and has been at CNN her whole career. That's 20 years. She grew up as a Reformed Jew, and by the way, so did the Brody File. Of course, that meant we had to talk to her about that and a few other things. All right, now you know I'm going to ask you this question about your name. Tell me how many people, percentage-wise, say Dana, and you go, hey, it's Dana.
You know what? I answer to anything at this point. It's happened all my life. You know, percentage-wise, I would say like 75%.
It's
say
that
Dana.
high.
You know what I've started saying?
Yeah.
Dana like banana.
Oh, I like that.
And then people don't forget.
And they say, let's move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you, I have read about you, you are an adrenaline junkie. In other words, look, I mean, this is in your blood as it relates to the media and what you've been doing. Talk to me about what a day in the life of Dana Bash is exactly.
You know, what's so great is that there's no day that's like the day before or like the day after. And you know this because you know, I've seen you out on the trail so much. I mean, you have a very similar kind of life in that you get to follow the news, and news by definition is surprising. It's new. So that's what's so terrific about it, is that there are no 2 days that are the same.
Talk to me a little bit about your growing up a little bit, your faith background. I know your Judaism is very important to you.
Very, yes.
Yeah, and talk to me about growing up, maybe the bat mitzvah and all of that fun stuff.
You know, I was very lucky, I think, in that my parents, I think my dad won't get upset by this, but mostly my mom.
We'll find out soon.
You know, but they both instilled a very deep sense of Judaism and my Jewish identity. And it came from them, it came from my grandparents. My grandfather was effectively a survivor. He was in an internment camp, not a concentration camp, but he got out of Nazi Europe along with my grandmother, Columbus Day, 1941, just by the skin of their teeth. And he was always my grandfather, Frank Weinman, was an intellectual, but very into his Judaism. You know, from a spiritual point of view, but mostly from an intellectual point of view. And that's the same with my mother. My mother, when my brother and I left the house, she was an empty nester. She went back to school. She went to the seminary, the Jewish seminary, with rabbinical students who were my age. And she got her master's in Judaic studies, so she learned how to teach about Judaism to adults, because that was, you know, growing up Reformed Jew, that tends to be what happens, is that the focus is all on the kids and not as much on adult learning. I saw a clip of you on YouTube. I was in my stalker mode, and I saw you talking at an event about Lador Vador, this from generation to generation, and you were very eloquent about that. Talk to me about why that's so important within the Jewish community. Exactly. It is. You're going to make me tear up because I'm thinking about my grandfather. But Lador Vador is, like you said, from generation to generation. It's one of those things, if you go to synagogue, if you read anything, if you go to, you know, Jewish summer camp, which I did, you know, you learn about this foundation of Judaism, and that is making sure that your kids learn, and then so that their kids learn.
That is Dana Bash here on the Brody File. All right, before we head to break, the Brody File has something on its mind. And so, without any further ado, it is time for this week's narcissistic Brody File commentary. You know, I thought I'd explain why we keep having Jewish media reporters on the Brody File. We've had Dana Bash, Andrea Mitchell, and Wolf Blitzer, just to name a few. Well, in case you didn't know, I'm Jewish. Actually, to be clear, I am a Jewish believer. In other words, I'm a Jew who gave his life to Jesus Christ 25 years ago. My blood is Jewish. Jesus was Jewish. So ever since I gave my life to Christ, I have actually felt more Jewish than I ever did growing up as a Reformed Jew in New York. Now let me be clear. I am so thankful that Jesus died for my sins and saved me so I can go to heaven and be with him for all of eternity. I also feel very connected to Jewish people. It's just a bond that's really hard to explain. I mean, looking at Dana and Andrea Mitchell and Wolf Blitzer, well, it transports me back to my youth, to the Passover Seder table, hunting for the afikomen and wonderful memories. I love the Jewish people. And guess what? So do true Bible-believing evangelical Christians. You know, I was skeptical at first, but after 25 years of living in the evangelical universe, there is no question, none at all, that evangelical Christians have a true heart for the Jewish people, and so do we here at the Brody File. All right, when we come back, a former United States Senator turns into, literally, the oy vey moment of the week. We explain next.